evening at the top of 9. The picture looks very encouraging for a Bharatiya Janata Party and the Prime Minister, who has campaigned extensively across the length and breadth of the 5 states. It seems that Uttar Pradesh, and you can see those numbers on your screens, Uttar Pradesh is firmly going to slide into the Bharatiya Janata Party's camp. You can see those numbers there. Even if you look at the median, it comes to about 190 for the Bharatiya Janata Party, which is actually within striking distance. With a little bit of help from some of the others, they can make the government. Punjab, Navika, looks encouraging for the Aam Aadmi Party.
Well, it's a neck-and-neck fight between the Aam Aadmi Party and the Congress Party in Punjab. The numbers for Punjab clearly very, very close to call. That's the way it's looking for Punjab. Look at the numbers on your screen. 54 to Congress, 51 to Aam Aadmi Party in the poll of polls. Too close to call in some of the polls like today's Chanakya, which gives 54 each to Aam Aadmi Party and the Congress Party in Punjab. If Rahul Gandhi doesn't win Punjab, will the Rahul Gandhi leadership be challenged once again? Because Uttarakhand and Manipur are 2 other states where he's losing, and the Uttar Pradesh polls show he's brought out another ally.
Absolutely. Let's have a quick look at Uttarakhand. Uttarakhand there, as you can see, 3 polls going the way of the Bharatiya Janata Party. In fact, all 4 seem to be suggesting, including the MRC poll, which is a late addition there, seem to be suggesting that it's going to be the Bharatiya Janata Party. So a step closer for the Bharatiya Janata Party to a Congress Mukt Bharat. That's the eventual aim. Let's have a look at Goa.
Well, in Goa, again, it's advantage BJP. It's close to call. The Aam Aadmi Party keeps a check on the Congress Party in Goa. But the way it stands as of now, 21 going to the BJP and about... or rather 18 going to the BJP in the poll of polls and 12 to the Congress Party. That's what the poll of poll numbers show. But one Access survey does give BJP 20 seats in Goa, once again set to form a government again there. Will Manohar Parrikar be headed to Goa next? That's the big national question that we'll ask the BJP in just a bit from now.
But the numbers paint a story. The big takeaways at the top of 9 are the following: that the Prime Minister Narendra Modi has emerged as perhaps a reliable political brand, delivering across polls for his party, and his magic remains intact. Navika.
BJP crosses the Mandal threshold, becomes a catch-all party. It's a party that's transcending various castes, the non-Yadav OBCs, the other parties like Dalits and all going into the BJP's fold. Clearly shows a complete progression of the vote base and caste engineering that Amit Shah has been working on over the last 2 years.
Okay, Modi Shah replaced Vajpayee Advani as Shapath for a new Bharatiya Janata Party. That's the takeaway 3. Takeaway 4, voters return direct benefit transfer to the BJP led by Modi.
Congress stares at a crisis of leadership, credibility and relevance. The Congress utility as an alliance partner also suffers a big blow.
And let's look at 7. Under Kejriwal's AAP's footprint goes beyond Delhi. If some of those results hold up, especially the Punjab one for the Aam Aadmi Party, it would suggest that he could emerge from the shadows of the Congress as one of the alternatives at the national level.
Mayawati faces an existential crisis. Dalit narrative fades. The Muslim plus Dalit formula not really working for Mayawati. Her vote base clearly shifting to the BJP. Will she have to think of another formula?
Well, Akhilesh Yadav's bold move to break away from his father as well as the party and assume control seems to be backfiring. He has to reinvent himself, or he might actually be in a tight spot going further. Will he therefore, if these polls, some of them hold up, quickly tie the knot with Mayawati to stay relevant? Who knows? But the big picture, let's go to the big picture. Let's go straight across to our guest.
Irfan Solanki, MLA of Okay, Irfan Solanki of the MLA of the Samajwadi Party join us in some time. Tariq Siddiqui, spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party, with us from Lucknow. Dr. Sudhanshu Trivedi, national spokesperson of the BJP and advisor to Home Minister Rajnath Singh. Alimuddin Khan, political analyst, with us. Nawab Qasim Ali Khan, leader of the BSP, with us. And of course, our esteemed panelists in the studio here, Shahid Siddiqui, R. Rajagopalan, Nalin Mehta, Sabha Naqvi, Nirja Chaudhary, Sanjeev Srivastava, Rajiv Desai and Jay Mrug with us here.
Let me begin by asking the baseline question this evening. And I want to begin with our panelists first. I want to start with you, Mr. Srivastava. Has Modi emerged as the reliable political brand, heavyweight brand, 1, 2, and has Bharatiya Janata Party emerged really after this as the party to beat nationally?
See, if the exit poll figures are right and the poll of polls is right, who can deny that?
Who can deny?
Narendra Modi has emerged as the central theme in these elections.
Who can deny that? Nalin, who can deny that?
No, you can't deny that. And I'd say something which was said even half an hour earlier as well, that only reinforces what we already know about Narendra Modi. There is no leader matching his popularity and his populist way in UP in particular.
Mr. Rajagopalan.
It's all because of his personal charisma.
No one can deny that.
No one can deny it. He's only one slokam is that Congress Mukh Bharat, which he has achieved. Even in the 2017, the Modi way persists.
Shahid Siddiqui,
I'm not sure if he's achieved
are
that,
we sweeping? Are we being too sweeping by saying he's achieved Congress Mukh Bharat?
No, you're not. Even if results are a bit different from what we are showing today, what we can see very clearly that Mr. Narendra Modi has emerged as the tallest national leader today.
Tallest national leader. Sabha Naqvi. Taller than all the satraps.
After Indira Gandhi, Atal Bihari Vajpayee was there, and then we have Narendra
tallest
Modi.
leader.
That's now become a cliche to say he's the tallest national leader, Rahul. What is significant is that this UP thing comes after the demonetization policy. So we were all of us have to eat crow. We all thought it was a bad policy, badly implemented. And after that, for him to, if this is the case,
you had a different narrative.
Then,
you said that this victory would mean that the actual problems would begin for the opposition because they would, especially the Congress party, and I read your piece in the Times of India, where you said that the Congress will actually be fighting with its back to the wall. Its leadership is going to be heavily questioned. And in fact, there's a situation where the opposition has more to prove here.
Absolutely, the opposition has a lot to lose, and if the Congress also loses Punjab, then it's very bad news for the Congress. They'll have to do deep introspection. I don't know whether they're ready to do it. As far as Mr. Modi is concerned, at the ground level, what one found, people have hope in him, people have faith. He may have, you know, they may have...
And the BJP is expanding its national footprint.
It is
Someone says it's too early
where,
to say,
you know, in areas
Congress
where it didn't exist.
Okay.
You know, people
Rajiv
feel
Desai.
sometime in the future he's going to do good. He may have run into trouble, but they're prepared to give him a long rope.
Rajiv Desai.
Even if these figures are right, I would be very hesitant to brand him as some sort of a national brand leader.
But
because
why?
when you exclude 125 million people from your brand, you're not a national brand.
But that's not true of the Lok Sabha elections.
I think the question is now about the spread of the party. Look at Orissa. Look at Maharashtra. In fact, Maharashtra, even in the BMC polls, Modi was used as a brand ambassador. So the question is, do you really have a durable leader with a new sort of engagement?
Okay, let me ask that question of the Bharatiya Janata Party. 1 second, I just want to go. Dr. Sudhanshu Trivedi, someone made the point, and it's been made now 3 times in the space of the past half an hour, that the Bharatiya Janata Party cannot aspire to be, and neither can Narendra Modi aspire to be, actually the inclusive catch-all party or the inclusive catch-all leader till the Bharatiya Janata Party doesn't embrace, someone was saying, 1/6 of this country. Go ahead, sir. Your response.
The trend which is emerging from your exit poll is categorically showing that BJP is expanding both socially and geographically under the leadership of Sri Narendra Modi. Those sections, particularly if you go in Uttar Pradesh, those sections for which it was believed at one point of time.
Most populous state.
I'm coming.
Rajnath Singh, later on several other political leaders said that you should have.
I'm coming to that point.
You should have been magnanimous. Okay.
I'm coming to that point. as there are certain communities in Uttar Pradesh, there were certain areas like Manipur, which was considered just a couple of years back that it is impossible for BJP, that these sections will come to BJP. So, on the basis of this, we are confident enough that the community which you are talking about are going to realize and have started realizing that those who are trying to become the self-proclaimed champions of their cause are doing a great disservice to them. For example, you remember the day yesterday on a Lucknow encounter, a leader from Congress party has unnecessarily given a statement. So that community is also realizing that who is doing or having intention to have a real benefit or real service for the community rather than using them as a vote bank.
Judged by the same yardstick.
This I would like to put just one fact.
The was underway at the Oberoi Hotel. Mr. Modi was outside posturing as a grandee
and taken it for granted.
Let's be fair. Be fair. Be fair. All I'm saying is be fair.
To think that by appeasing or justifying some kind of terror, Muslims will be heavy. That's insult, because Indian Muslims do not stand with any kind of terror. And what Mr. Digvijay Singh has said is very
insulting.
What connection you trying to establish?
Tariq Siddiqui.
So frankly speaking,
what was the alliance between Akhilesh Yadav and Rahul Gandhi all about in Uttar Pradesh if it wasn't about appeasement, if it wasn't about consolidation of the Muslim vote?
And living off the fear of the Muslim community.
You actually did your entire alliance based on that.
Akhilesh.
Can I make a larger? The problem is we
let him respond.
Akhilesh, under the leadership of Akhilesh Yadav, the kind of development has taken place in Uttar Pradesh. We were confident on our own merit to cross 200.
Why then you should have fought on the development plank, sir, not on the not on the second plank.
Post Nodebandi impact. See, listen.
Why did
Gadbandhan was not our requirement.
Why did it was not your requirement? Then why did you go with Raga? Why did you go with Rahul Gandhi if it was not your requirement?
So I am telling you.
And why did at every rally Akhilesh Yadav talked about Muslim vote? He talked about Raksha Bandhan between Mayawati.
Listen.
And the BJP.
Okay.
Let
him finish. Let him finish.
What I am saying is that post Nodebandi things were totally different, and for a larger benefit of the people of the Uttar Pradesh, there was no doubt was given, and hence the Gadbandhan has taken place. And I am still confident that we are going to touch 240, 250.
Mr. Siddiqui, that's immaterial. Whether you judge that's 200, 300, I just want to ask you, going by today, now please, you have to be honest tonight, because many viewers are listening to you. And I want to ask you, if demonetization was supposedly about being a surgical strike against corruption, you went and held the hand of corruption. 2G scam, Colgate scam, so many scams under the UPA. How does that fit with the development credentials of Akhilesh Yadav? And perhaps that's the reason why the Samajwadi Party is losing. If you go by the polls.
Accusations.
No, you have to see the situation. You have to see the situation post Nodebandi or demonetization, what has taken place. Things were totally different. Corruption, when you're talking, why you forget, Mr. Sudhanshu should not forget the Vyapam Ghotala, which was more than 50,000 crore. One should not forget the Lalit Ghotala, Lalit Gate. One should not also forget the demonetization itself, a big Ghotala. It will come today or tomorrow. 6 to 7 lakh crores of rupees are missing from the bank.
Be well aware about the fact. On Vyapam, the Supreme Court has upheld it.
While implementing the whole demonetization, there's a huge
Nawab Qasim Ali,
the bank employees.
Nawab Qasim Ali,
handled because nothing was planned.
Nawab Qasim Ali, it's very clear. It's very clear that it was on the plan of the Muslim vote.
The fundamental question is, right from day one when the election started, why Akhilesh felt that he cannot sail through other than having an alliance with Congress, and now he is giving a statement that he is ready to join hands with BSP. This itself is a proof enough.
That's why I want to take the question to Nawab Qasim Ali.
No, he is not ready to. Mr. Trivedi, please listen to his statement. It is a commitment for him to keep the criminal forces out of Uttar Pradesh if it need be. if it need be, which is not required. Several times he said
it means in your agenda communal is more important than development. You should accept it.
He's very clear.
It means you are trying to bring the communal agenda on the forefront.
Oh, development, yeah.
Sachar committee, the Sachar commission report came out and said that even though on the face of it the Congress calls itself, one second, sir, I'm talking now facts. No, 1 second, Mr. Siddiqui, now let's talk some facts. You're talking about communalism, you're talking about those who represent minority welfare. Gentlemen, 1 second. Let's not get, please don't get bogged down tonight. This is about convenience and I want to come out to Sabha Naqvi also. 1 second, gentlemen. Gentlemen, calm down. Okay.
Issue. No.
Mr. Siddiqui.
But you did not bring it either. Mr. Siddiqui, even you failed to raise, Mr. Siddiqui, demonetization as an issue in this election.
I can speak on
Mr. Siddiqui,
and has not
Mr. Siddiqui
at all.
Mr. Siddiqui, even you could not bring up demonetization as an issue in this election. Isn't it your failure? You're talking about the Prime Minister. Even you could not bring and make demonetization an issue. And the poll of polls does show that in any case, demonetization has been accepted by the people.
So,
no, it has not been accepted. You'll see on 11th. It was not our initiative. We have not taken it. The central government, Prime Minister initiative. And he has never,
Sabha Naqvi, we've been talking about
any of his public rally.
Okay, heard you, Mr. Siddiqui. Sabha Naqvi, we've been talking about Narendra Modi as the face, as the icon, and it's stating the obvious when we say that. But somewhere or the other, will you realize that it is the social engineering formula of Amit Shah that is the combination that brings, Narendra Modi as the icon to come and sweep whichever state he wants to. If there wasn't the booth planning that was done 1.5 years ago, it wasn't for the Ujjwala scheme, if it wasn't for, the Jan Dhan, the Mudra schemes, all of these has been engineered in a manner by Amit Shah on the ground in Uttar Pradesh to make Narendra Modi the success. It didn't work in Bihar.
Navika, there are complicated, I agree with you that it's all worked out well. But even when Rajnath Singh was the Chief Minister of UP in 2001, he came out with a suggestion of a special reservation for Ati Pichda and Ati Dalit.
MBCs.
So it's actually an old BJP, RSS, whatever idea. Now it has worked on the ground in this round. Anyway, there's not enough time to get into the social changes that have happened. But there is a larger thing which we should begin to address now, is that when we all talk, everybody here jumps into Muslims only make up 1/5 of the voters.
Yes.
There are other voters.
Yes.
Let's keep that in mind. I would argue that because for years we have seen a deterioration in the nature of the candidates who parties put up as Muslim representatives, who cannot possibly appeal to anyone outside their community, and even there, I wrote a piece in Times of India, even there people are divided. They have no appeal. There is a crisis of the secular parties. What they have cynically handed over to meat traders, to dons, to everybody.
Absolutely. And Nawab Qasim Ali should be asked that question. Nawab Qasim Ali, it's the fight,
problem.
as Sabha puts it, it's the fight for the 1/5 of the vote, which is the Muslim vote, that saw the Samajwadi Party, the Congress and Bahujan Samaj Party making a beeline for it. In the meanwhile, did you alienate the other caste which formed the basis of your alliance, the Muslim Dalit alliance? You paid more attention to the Muslim by giving 97 tickets to Muslim candidates. You forgot about the rest of the social engineering and other castes.
Not at all. I don't think so. The candidates were distributed as per the credentials of the candidate or the merits or their capability to attract the votes to themselves. I think there were a lot of logistics which were looked into.
So unappealing even to me,
No, it's not so much about the choice of candidates as it is about the decision to pursue a divisive politics.
No, 1 second. Before you all button, you have to let me answer the question. Otherwise, I'll just sit here like a silent spectator and listen to all.
No, you told me 2 nights ago.
Yeah.
Nawab Qasim Ali, you told me 2 nights ago.
Yeah.
You told me 2 nights ago that the Congress, the Samajwadi Party have lost the right to represent the minority community. You said it yourself, or any other of the other minorities, because they paid lip service to their welfare.
I did not say that.
You did not say that.
Don't put words.
Then I heard wrong.
I did not say that. I'm saying it. I don't know what you heard. But just if you put
then
the
Rahul
question
ask him
directly
why
at me, I can give you a direct answer.
Having an appeal directly by the name of religion.
One at a time. One at a time. Sir, one at a time. Let him finish.
No, not
Nawab
at all.
Qasim,
That's not
please.
true.
Clarify what you meant that night. If I misunderstood, clarify. So are you suggesting that the Samajwadi Party and the Congress have done a lot of work for Muslims, that they represent their secular interests?
Not at all.
Their interests? Then what do you say? Explain to me.
Samajwadi Party has done nothing in my constituency. That's what I can speak about. In my constituency or in Rampur district. Let's put it that way. In Rampur district, where the second most important person of this Akhilesh cabinet was a minister in Rampur, all the development and the crores and crores of rupees that was sent to Rampur were just sent to Azam and his trust, his private trust called the Johar Trust. Except for the trust, no money was sent anywhere in Rampur district, any tehsil or any block.
No, okay, so I want to bring in both Sanjeev Srivastava, because the original question was whether the Bharatiya Janata Party and the Prime Minister have evolved as the alternative at the national level and as the catch-all coalition between the BJP and the Prime Minister of all the community, Neerja Chaudhary and Sanjeev Srivastava, in that order.
You know, the Prime Minister has risen taller. There's no challenge to him. And as things are going, probably not even in 2019. But what bothers me is, in a democracy, do you use the Prime Minister in local elections, state elections, national elections? Is that a desirable thing?
But why not?
Why not? If it's a winning formula, what's wrong?
In the late 80s, gentlemen,
you charged up the entire school.
In the late 80s, did the Congress not in Rajiv Gandhi as a mascot for everything?
The BJP has tweaked its formula.
Let's listen to Nalin. Okay, this is an important question. Let's go one at a time, please. Okay, one second, please. One at a time.
10 years, Manmohan Singh slept.
Okay,
what
yes.
did Manmohan Singh do? Neerja should answer that.
Should the Prime Minister be the whole mascot?
You must answer. Why are you saying that?
One at a time, gentlemen. Please, one at a time. Nalin.
I'm raising a wider question.
Okay,
it's not a personal question. I'm raising a wider question. Why should I defend Manmohan Singh or somebody else?
Why you use Manmohan Singh?
Yes.
How can you compare Manmohan Singh?
While you have the charisma of the Prime Minister, the BJP in its campaigning, it's very different from the way it did in Bihar, which was the last big ticket election. If you look at posters of the BJP, while Mr. Modi and Amit Shah are up there, you also have posters of local leaders. The way they did their candidate selection has been different.
So why didn't they then project a chief ministerial candidate?
The
criticism is that it's the Prime Minister and no one else.
Because UP is too big and there were too many castes to be taken. If they had projected anyone from any one region, then it would have harmed BJP.
That's an interesting they were playing the caste cards subliminally, talking about development.
Very quickly, couple of points. I think I agree with Shahid.
And they would have lost votes if they had put up
to project anybody as a chief minister would have been self-defeating for the BJP, because if you project one person and his caste, other castes can get alienated from you. And the Prime Minister, कहते हैं हिंदी में ना हाथी के पाँव में सबका पाँव. So the Prime Minister is all encompassing in that way. See, the one thing which kind of I thought while traveling for my few days, everybody else perhaps traveled more than me, is that only the BJP seemed really a most well-organized, well-oiled election machine. Everybody was hungry there to win. And they were from the
Okay, Mr. Solanki, let me bring in the Samajwadi Party.
Local MPs,
let me bring in the Samajwadi Party, Mr. Solanki.
On the other hand,
they
wanted
to win.
On his own.
They wanted to win. They were keen on winning. The rest were only sort of striking convenient alliances to stay in the race. Mr. Solanki, that's the charge that is being made. Please respond, sir. Mr. Solanki, can you hear me? Very good point. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I can hear you.
I asked you a straight question.
But I didn't hear your question.
The question is straightforward, sir, and the question is this: that it seemed to some of our analysts here that the only party that actually was geared up to win, had a plan, a project, as well as a direction to their campaign was the Bharatiya Janata Party. The others were too busy striking alliances and sort of trying
their
to
own family
and projecting their own family, etc., etc. And that's why we are at this point. Mr. Solanki.
No. This is not the right thing, because we are doing the best we can do it, and that the 11th of March will tell you each and everything which is the true and which is not. The family drama is something else, and the people know what is the best, and they are doing the best which can they will do. And this is nothing, or the BJP, the BJP party is something to be think about. They don't want to people
Neerja Chaudhary, I just want to bring you in on this. You made an interesting point, Neerja Chaudhary. You said that the Prime Minister should not be actually going out there and campaigning continually.
No, I don't say that.
You won't say that. What are you saying?
I don't say that. The Prime Minister is their most appealing face. He must go and campaign. But the over-reliance only on Narendra Modi, right from Odisha to Maharashtra local elections, Delhi local elections, every election, the party has a backbone of leaders.
Now Rahul Gandhi.
He doesn't want any other person to
where is it working now?
Rahul Gandhi's factor is not working.
But where is Rahul Gandhi? Rahul Gandhi is
getting projected.
Navika,
he doesn't want anyone else to emerge in
was
BJP.
just too high stakes. Uttar Pradesh was just too high stakes. He didn't go that much to Uttarakhand or Punjab or Odisha or Maharashtra.
Dr. Sudhanshu Trivedi, the question that is being said by Neerja, that she's raising this question, and she says that from municipal polls to polls in states to polls at the center, everywhere you are using the Prime Minister. Yes, he's your icon, but a Prime Minister camping in constituency after constituency, campaigning from local polls to municipal polls, is that a desirable thing, she says?
Yeah.
We are not using Prime Minister. Prime Minister is experiencing the responsibility on him as the topmost worker of Bharatiya Janata Party, and he is showing that, like any other worker of BJP, sitting on the highest pedestal of the party and of the government, he is doing his level best to do whatever he can do for a party, irrespective of any election, whether it is a municipal corporation, Vidhan Sabha or Lok Sabha. And as far as she is saying that from Punjab to Odisha it is only one, then I would like to remind that there was one time when people were knowing Atal Bihari Vajpayee more, less Bharatiya Janata Party, and there was a time during time of Indira Gandhi, there was a phrase ki jaat pe na paat pe, Indira ji ki baat pe mohar lagegi haath pe. On the other hand, if you look, BJP always says that they're the nation first, party second, self last. That's why we always chant the slogan Bharat Mata Ki Jai. Even Modi ji chants the slogan Bharat Mata Ki Jai, not like other parties like Indira is India.
Alimuddin Khan, respond to that. You've used in the past Indira Gandhi when Congress was there. So why now criticize the BJP when they use Narendra Modi? He's their most successful brand. Why not use him wherever it's possible?
Navika ji, brand Modi is declining day by day. He's mesmerizing.
Where? Where is he declining? It's brand. Rahul Gandhi is declining. I think you got it wrong. I think you got it wrong. It's Rahul Gandhi brand that's going down. Narendra Modi brand is going up. He's winning Manipur. He's winning Assam. He's winning Arunachal Pradesh.
No. Soon you will see. You see, Maharashtra elections were won by the help of the Congress and NCB rebels. Ticket offered by the BJP. And same thing happened in BJP in UP.
Congress helped BJP in Maharashtra.
BJP is doing whatever way they can get numbers, but they are not going to get the magic numbers in UP.
In fact, Alimuddin Khan, I've got responses from viewers who are saying that just by calling brand Rahul Gandhi, I'm increasing his stature. Yes. There is no brand associated with Rahul Gandhi, because everywhere he goes, you actually end up losing the state. Uttar Pradesh lost, Punjab lost, Uttarakhand lost.
But we are not sure now whether they've lost Punjab.
Okay,
we haven't. They are not polls are anything to go
Okay,
by.
so let me turn the question around. If the Congress retains Punjab, I mean wins Punjab, if the Congress wins Punjab, what does that suggest? Let's throw that open. What does that suggest? No, one second, relax. Okay, 1 second, relax, Mr. Alimuddin Khan. 1 second. You like this question, so let someone else answer it. Yes,
I
go ahead.
actually think that Punjab is for the Congress party a more critical state, because while I was traveling there, I got a call, Rahul, because people see my Twitter that I'm in Punjab. I got a call from a pretty influential congressman, and he said that if we lose this state now, a traditional Congress state after 10 years, then we are really in deep trouble. Is it really
a traditional Congress state?
No, look at this. Congress used to rule UP, Bihar from 89. They stopped doing that. Congress used to rule Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan. The BJP has shown the capacity to hang on to power in states. No, I'm making another point here, and then they don't come back.
No, but can we suggest, because the Congress will make a big deal. Let's be honest. Congress, Nalin, will make a huge deal about the fact that they might end up retaining Punjab. Will it be his victory, which is Rahul Gandhi's, or Captain Amarinder Singh?
Everybody knows.
Will it be Captain Amarinder Singh?
Not retaining.
They will win it. Sorry,
no,
they will win it. Will it be whose victory? Will it be?
It will be Amarinder Singh's victory. However, it will allow Rahul Gandhi a face saver. If they lose Punjab, then there will be serious questions about it. But Punjab will very clearly be Amarinder victory. It won't be a Rahul victory, but it will give him a face saver to say that, look, we have not.
Manipur will be an Ibobi Singh victory. Uttarakhand will be a Harish Rawat victory. So where is Rahul Gandhi in the equation?
In the face of losing Uttarakhand, Manipur, Goa, will Punjab alone give a face saver to Rahul Gandhi?
No, I don't think so, because Punjab, number one, it will not be a victory for Rahul Gandhi, as Nalin said, it will be a victory for Captain. Secondly, there was huge anti-incumbency, and in spite of that, if Congress wins just by a very small margin, that's not a huge victory, because Aam Aadmi Party has been able to emerge. Either Aam Aadmi Party will form the government, or it will emerge as the...
That's the problem. That's the problem. The vacuum is a strong
Rahul is not working anywhere.
Let's put some numbers in perspective. Guys, let's put some numbers in perspective.
Put numbers in perspective.
Guys, let's put numbers in perspective.
Let's get some data.
Here is a strong opposition party. Even in 2007, when the Congress lost Punjab for the first time, Captain said, I have worked in the urban areas. The Captain actually did well in Malwa, the traditional stronghold of the Akalis. He again lost 2012 by a whisker. In both the elections, in spite of losing, the Congress was 40 plus in terms of number of seats. So after having been 40 plus for 2 assemblies, having waited for 10 years, if you're going to have a novice just enter the fray and again take a 40 plus tally, that's something to think about.
Who's got more at stake? Is it the Congress or is it the Bharatiya Janata Party? Because people are also looking forward. No, 1 second. People are talking about the presidential elections, the Rajya Sabha configuration. They are talking about the fact that this election could determine the picture in 2019. So let's ask this question. Who's got more at stake?
Definitely Narendra Modi and the BJP will definitely come out with the kind of results which will not really put them to any great disadvantage. It's a question of calibrating what kind of an advantage they are scoring in these elections. So but for Rahul Gandhi and the Congress Party,
for Rahul Gandhi well in Uttar Pradesh, if they don't make the cut,
doesn't matter.
They fall short of majority.
From 15%, even if they reach 35%, because again, like somebody else was saying, you have to compare 2012 with 2017, and you have to compare 2014 with 2019. So, but it's a question of existence for the Congress Party.
But that's an unfair one. But Sanjeev Srivastava, that's unfair, because for Rahul Gandhi, the benchmark is 2014, they say the Congress ranked
for Rahul Gandhi,
many people say that.
See, Rahul Gandhi, the benchmark is to win. That's the only state where they can perhaps win on their own. And if they are just managing to win, hold on by a whisker, I think Rahul Gandhi and Congress Party will completely cede the opposition space to BJP, vis-a-vis the BJP to Aam Aadmi Party and Kejriwal.
Foregone conclusion.
But what is the danger? What is the?
How can you make that? How can you say it's foregone conclusion?
No. The BJP is far bigger than the Congress today. It's the preeminent party. What is a real threat to the Congress is AAP destroys the Congress and moves on. So a success for AAP is very bad news, and even the Anna movement hollowed them out destroyed UPA too.
Yes.
So
Aam Aadmi Party's first target is always
anybody the Congress party comes across, whether it's the BJP or the Aam Aadmi Party, it gets singed.
Yes.
So what does that speak about the leadership qualities of Rahul Gandhi?
That Rahul Gandhi is not a vote catcher. Or hasn't been for the last few elections. Wherever they do something is because of regional setup.
Never been. It was Sonia Gandhi.
It is badly lacking in regional leaders right now.
Nija, 1 minute.
By the way,
coming across.
I just want to add one point that Punjab, if they lose, will be one more in the list of two-party states where they will not have any leader in the parliament.
That's where I want to fill it. I want to fill it. That's the point. Even look at Orissa. So the real question then for the Congress is, wherever a third choice is available, it straightway collapses.
Absolutely.
And that is, so if Aam Aadmi Party...
wherever a so-called secular alternatives are available, Congress collapses.
Not only secular, what about Orissa? It's being dedicated to third place.
Yes, going across to Neerja Chaudhary now. Neerja Chaudhary, what does it speak of the Congress's staying power? Whoever it comes into touch with, whoever is its competitor, it has no future with its competitors, if it's an Aam Aadmi Party or the BJP, and its alliance partners, sink when they join hands. So what's the future for the Congress party?
It's a very dismal future when you look at it today. If the party does not sort of pick up 2 states in these elections, the grand old party of India, I don't know what's going to be the future of it.
No, let's ask that question.
I want to make the point.
I want to get
3 years down into incumbency of the Prime Minister, Congress should have been picking up states, not losing states.
Neerja Chaudhary, can today the Gandhi surname exist above and beyond its party, or is there going to be a crisis now of leadership, so much so that the party... No, it's not about that. It's about legitimacy. It's about legitimacy. Rahul Gandhi wants to become the president of the party.
The truth is,
can he after this?
Rahul Gandhi is a very well-meaning guy, sincere, his heart is in the right place, but he does not have a public connect.
So what does that mean?
Does
Priyanka come in? Or does, as
Priyanka has shown no signs of coming in. She's campaigned in one. UP was such a huge challenge for the Congress party, and Priyanka has gone for one rally.
Kartik Chidambaram says that it's all about dynasty. No one can ascend to the top of this party.
I think
you need to ask these questions tonight.
Way too simplistic to keep on blaming Rahul Gandhi or why Priyanka isn't coming. I think that if one really sees as a political history of last 25 years, Congress is on a perennial decline. Even when it won 2004, 2009, it was alliances cobbled together. See, Congress party, the biggest tragedy is the party has no story to sell today. They have no narrative. Their narrative has been either captured by AAP.
Let's take that question to Alimuddin Khan. Let's take that question to Alimuddin Khan. Alimuddin Khan, what is the narrative that Rahul Gandhi brings to the table? The question is, the BJP is going from state to state. If it reaches Manipur as well, where is the Congress story going? You are out from the northeast, you are out from, you are up against a huge wall in Punjab with the Aam Aadmi Party in Goa. Again, the Aam Aadmi Party is, gnawing away at your roots. Where is the Congress narrative really headed as far as the national picture is concerned?
You will start with Modi.
And they don't even have one solid voter base.
It's the party. BJP means Narendra. BJP means Mr.
What do you need?
Whether it is general election, whether it is
you need Gandhi Mukt Congress.
What do you need?
Gandhi Mukt
What
Congress.
does the Congress need?
Gandhi Mukt Congress.
Okay. Now,
what do you need? We are asking you about the Congress party.
You got 73 seats in UP. Now you are struggling.
Why don't you answer the question on Rahul Gandhi?
That means the
Alimuddin Khan, why don't you answer the question on Rahul Gandhi? No, Modi's brand you don't worry about. Modi's brand the BJP and Amit Shah will take care of. You tell us about the Rahul Gandhi factor. Is Rahul Gandhi a factor at all? Is it a Gandhi Mukt Congress that you are talking about? Where are the Congress workers?
They are only leaders.
Where are the Congress workers? Where is the cadre?
Rahul Gandhi ji.
Manish Tiwari is saying different.
Leader of the largest party of this country. And in 2009,
largest party where?
This country.
Now you have to go with the magnifying glass.
Forget it.
7%.
Alimuddin Khan. Now you have to go with the magnifying glass to look at which state. Okay, UP, Punjab, Manipur, Uttarakhand, Goa, all you are winning.
Navika, what has happened is,
and if you don't, if you don't,
Navikaji,
they are
appreciate this.
Navikaji, do you understand
entire
Hindi?
Story has been taken
Navikaji,
over.
do you understand Hindi?
I understand Urdu also. I understand Punjabi, Urdu, Hindi.
They comes and goes, but they cannot rule the country.
Mr.
They do
Alimuddin
not have any foresight
you can't be so facetious tonight.
No,
we are not fools, and the viewers are not fools. Please don't take the viewers and the panelists for granted. I want to ask this question. Let's throw this open. Let's throw this open. Okay, let me throw this open. I want to go to the Samajwadi Party. Let's go to the Samajwadi Party. One second, sir, please. I want to go to the Samajwadi Party. I think we have our spokesperson still with us. He's been very patient. And I want to go across to you, Mr. Tariq. Mr. Tariq, look, the Congress is suffering. There is a crisis of credibility at the top. Akhilesh Yadav reposed a lot of faith in Rahul Gandhi. If you guys don't make it, if the UP ke ladke don't make it, would you say that this was the biggest mistake that was made, and then Mulayam Singh Yadav and perhaps Akhilesh's uncle were right in the long run? Look at what happened in Tamil Nadu. Look at what happened in West Bengal. Simple question. Who do you blame this on? Would you blame it on Akhilesh Yadav, or would you blame it on the Congress?
No, Gadbandhan has worked well during the elections we have seen, and you will see the result on 11th. Things will be
so then why is Akhilesh Yadav making an appeal to Mayawati, sir, if he's so confident? Sir, please. Let's ask.
Please understand the personality, the generosity of Akhilesh Yadav. He is very clearly saying his priority.
What about the personality about Rahul Gandhi?
It's not even a question of personality. Who would you blame?
About Rahul Gandhi, we are asking you.
Seats.
If the SP doesn't win, who do you blame?
No, he's not going.
If the SP doesn't win, who do you blame?
And Akhilesh Yadav is charismatic.
Neither Chief Minister is saying.
If you lose Uttar Pradesh, is it Rahul Gandhi's fault?
We are losing.
How can he?
There's no question.
Okay. Let me throw this open.
There is no question of losing this election in Uttar Pradesh.
Okay. In case there is, fine.
All category of the voters.
Fair enough. Mr. Siddiqui, you are adamant.
Let me make one point. This is
please, sir. Please make your point. Yes.
No, I'm not adamant. I'm not adamant. See, there is a reason. There is a reason to make a point. Couple of families I was in touch with. There are 6 or 8 voters have gone. They have given to two parties or 3 different parties. There are seniors who have gone for Kamal. There are youngsters who are gone for Cycle or Panja. So it's very difficult to find out whether 161 seat will come.
But I want to ask the panel. I want to ask the panel. I want to begin with Sabha Naqvi. If supposing the Samajwadi Party doesn't make it, where does the blame lie? Does it lie with Akhilesh Yadav, who seems to be a well-meaning individual, or does it lie with the alliance choice?
I think it will just lie in the fact that the BJP has just come up strongly, and I don't think, I still believe that Akhilesh did very well within the family drama. Can I finish?
Alliance.
It's alliance which failed.
I believe that Akhilesh did very well.
Alliance which failed.
Do you think Rahul Gandhi once again did what he did to the DMK and to the CPM?
West Bengal CPM.
No, but you will
Same
find,
thing has happened here.
If I may but finish my point, you will still find there will be certain seats, such as those in Varanasi town, where the alliance has worked well. I also found places where Congress workers, because there are no Congress workers, Congress leaders were distributing SP hats. And even in the Varanasi roadshow, the bandobast was done, even though the candidate is Congress.
So what Sabha Naqvi is saying tonight is that it's going to be the BJP's credit, not so much the problem. Would you agree with that hypothesis, or would you say that there was a cynical arrangement, and the people have seen through the cynical arrangement.
The alliance was done right at the last minute. It didn't really work that well on the ground, except in a few seats. There are at least 22 seats where SP and Congress candidates are fighting against each other. I spoke to several of them. They said it's a fight to the finish. There was no question of friendly fights over there.
Neerja Chaudhary, the reason that they were fighting against each other, and Sanjeev Srivastava, want to bring you in, was because the SP felt that by clutching the hand of the Congress...
By the way, sorry Rahul, sorry to interrupt, out of those 22 seats, at least 6 were in Amethi itself.
That's the problem. The problem is that Neerja Chaudhary, the SP workers themselves, who had been working very hard for a year, in fact, on their seats, felt that the Congress was the wrong choice. It had no organization at the ground level, and worse, it had a leader who was not charismatic.
I think they gave too many seats. When he gave 105 seats to Congress instead of 58, where the Congress had been number 1 and 2, Akhilesh Yadav displayed a sign of weakness. After having been, asserted, captured the party, got the symbol, a sign of strength, a leader would come into his own out of the shadows of his father. This became a sign of weakness. But I agree with Sabha. It seemed to go Akhilesh's way. Initially, we thought it was going to be Akhilesh election, just as 2014 was Modi election. Kahin na kahin Modi Akhilesh pe bhari pade hain.
Sanjeev Srivastava, do you think somewhere or the other there was a desperation after Akhilesh Yadav had broken away from the father and Chacha Jan stronghold on him? Somewhere or the other there was a desperation to somehow stay in power, and he thought that anything that came in terms of incremental votes would come through Congress, and that would be something that would help him, and that's probably gone horribly wrong.
See, hindsight is the most powerful side, especially when it comes to journalists. But you should also remember the backdrop in which the alliance happened. Akhilesh has had a very long drawn out family struggle and feud, after which the symbol fight. So he was quite somewhere mentally exhausted, fighting and taking care of all these enemies within. And at that time, and there were just few days left before the nominations had to be filed and all those things, and Congress very smartly bargained very hard with the logic that, we give us 100 seats, 50 candidates can be Samajwadi Party candidates only. That was the whole logic of Rahul Gandhi and company.
At least 30 of those candidates
the Congress party was constantly saying that this alliance and the number of seats you give to us is very important to us to send a larger message to Punjab, Uttarakhand, etc.
Okay, but let me ask on that point.
Akhilesh kind of agreed ki okay,
Sanjeev Srivastava, on that point, very important, there. On that point.
But I think alliance or no alliance, Akhilesh would have faced the same kind of results that he's facing.
No, okay, but let me ask the larger question. If you are saying that, and I want to bring in Jay also on this, the Congress utility as an alliance partner going forward, will that suffer a blow if the Samajwadi and the Congress don't win?
Absolutely. See, even in Maharashtra.
So Rahul Gandhi's experiment of dumping Akla Chalo and joining up with people will be completely suffering an irreversible blow. Are you saying that?
Yeah, I mean, see, the Congress never had a loyal vote or a cadre vote. These elections have only precipitated the problem and brought it to the fore.
Very quickly. That's what I meant when I said that the Congress today has no narrative, no story to offer. See, their story has been taken over by regional parties or AAP on a national level. That's the big... It's not Rahul Gandhi or Priyanka Gandhi. Congress doesn't translate into a vote-catching idea today. They have no story. That's the basic problem of Congress party.
Who will give that narrative?
The equity of the Congress and even alliance partner suffers.
I'm sorry. This is not... The way I see it is somewhat different. Okay. It's not that the Congress has no story, it has no narrative. The fact of the matter is that the appeal of the BJP is purely along sectarian and exclusionary lines, and this is what the Congress is fighting against. It may or may not be successful.
What about Punjab? What about Delhi? What about Odisha? What about...
So the non-BJP vote is also not coming from
what about Andhra Pradesh?
That's what I mean.
The BJP is not there. There is a different question.
The BJP is not in any of these states.
There is a space available for even the secular narrative, which parties like AAP captured, which many regional parties captured.
I don't think that was the question. I think
the question was that. No. The question was in bipolar contest with the BJP, the Congress loses. You can say it's cynical politics by the BJP that defeats the Congress. But what about third parties? And I asked you third forces.
Yeah. No. I was responding to what you asked and what he said. That does the Congress not have? Yes, it has a narrative. Now it's not working. That's a different issue.
But then who takes responsibility?
The fact is, in states where there is no BJP, in states where there is no BJP, in states like Andhra, in Kerala, where there is no BJP, also the Congress story is failing.
In one of the most politically aware countries in the world, if Donald Trump won, I mean, what the hell?
Well, you are not depending.
No,
really. Last 10 seconds, 1 minute. Last 10 seconds to Sudhanshu Trivedi before we hit a break. Sudhanshu Trivedi, once again, प्रॉब्लम नाउ फॉर यू इज कांग्रेस मुक्त भारत तो हो जाएगा जैसा आपने इच्छा की थी, वो तो हो रहा है, नजर आ रहा है. Question is, when you come up against parties like Aam Aadmi Party and regional parties, does the story change for the BJP there? Sudhanshu Trivedi.
Whatever your exit poll is saying that whether it was a national party or the regional party or the joining hands of both the national and regional party, the story is very clear. As far as Samajwadi Party,
Aam Aadmi Party,
right from today's Akhilesh
Aam Aadmi Party,
Azam Khan statement to Ravidas.
Don't look only at Samajwadi Party.
As far as I am talking in the context of Uttar Pradesh election and Aam Aadmi Party, when the Delhi election.
No. We are talking in the national context.
Punjab. As the Punjab.
Delhi.
We were the junior partner. We were contesting on just 23rd seats, and the situation was
that's your line.
Honestly,
that's your line. That you were a junior partner. Okay, so in Delhi we'll see where the fight really goes.
Yes.
The Congress and Aam Aadmi Party.
Okay, so the BJP is making it very clear. The BJP is making it very clear. Uttar Pradesh
is concerned.
BJP even does
एक बात कहना चाहूँगा लास्ट में, नाविका जी.
कहिए, हाँ जी कहिए.
अरे नाविका जी, एक बात मैं कहना चाहूँगा. देखिए साहब, समाजवादी पार्टी में क्या होने जा रहा है, वो अखिलेश जी की सौतेली माता जी साधना गुप्ता जी ने जो बोल दिया है उससे स्पष्ट हो गया है कि हम मुलायम सिंह जी की साधना.
Let's not go there. Let's no. I don't want to get into this narrow narrative. Let's move on. We'll take a short break.
We are looking at the national picture. We are looking at the national picture. Let's not get into the family politics. On that note, the question is the BJP gaining ground, the big existential crisis for Rahul Gandhi. What does it mean for regional parties and the formula for 2019?
Keep tweeting.
That is, tweet on your screens with the mega exit poll hashtag we are putting out, and all the numbers are coming up right after this very short break.
A very warm welcome to India's election news headquarters. The numbers are out. This is the mega exit poll. You can tweet using that hashtag. We've been predicting all through the day today, starting from 5 o'clock. It began with some of our experts putting their numbers out, but finally, Jai Murug, your polling agency, has come up with the numbers for Uttar Pradesh, the jackpot. There are 5 states. Don't forget, there are 5 states, Jai. There are 5 states.
We have a diverse range.
Uttar Pradesh.
Yeah, the jackpot is Uttar Pradesh.
Anand, first, let Anand talk us through the numbers.
Where the best part is, the jackpot is Uttar Pradesh, and he's happy sitting on the fence here. So we were the first ones right at the edge with 200. But when the others came in, look at Chanakya where they've taken the projections to 285, and then you had Axis coming out with saying 265, and then you had the other end of the spectrum.
But that's an important point. How is there so much variation, Jay, in this data? How is it that there are 5 exit polls which range from a very conservative figure for the Samajwadi Party to a big figure here, and then look at the variations between the figures for the Bharatiya Janata Party? How can this happen? You're a pollster.
The direct question to you is, how did you predict to sit on the fence? How did you get sitting on the fence?
Okay, Anand, let me put that in perspective. See, we have this wonderful Westminster model, where actually there is very little, not very little, the correlation between vote share and seats is fairly limited.
Okay.
UP has been triangular. It was triangular in the late 90s. In the 2000s, it was bipolar. It's become triangular again.
Okay.
You know? Which means when you cross 26 or 27%, there is no fixed correlation of how your votes are converting to seats.
Okay,
and
so that's why we have these variations. Let's look at Punjab. Punjab, very big. Punjab is also very big for the Congress, really. The Congress has been making a big deal out of Punjab, saying that if we retain Punjab, we will be in a position to say that we are still in the game, and that this is not a Congress Mukt Bharat as yet, Punjab.
Absolutely.
Look at the swing down, downward swing for the Shiromani Akali Dal. This is a telling blow. It usually happens, the anti-incumbency, and this time it's a double anti-incumbency that they are facing. And it's not more the BJP but the Shiromani Akali Dal that has been the target for the Aam Aadmi Party and the Congress, and that says in the poll of polls. Nobody is giving, in fact, except for CSDS, nobody is giving them double figures. And that's what stands out. And it's the Aam Aadmi Party. Look at that.
Let's get one thing important about the Aam Aadmi Party template.
Okay.
Wherever it enters a new state, the first casualty is the Congress. And it has the potential to drive the incumbent. Okay. Here in Delhi it was the Congress. It has the potential to drive the incumbent to a below 20 vote share.
Well, there you see it. Yeah. Perhaps that's what's happened with the SAD, but that also could be attributed to double anti-incumbency, as Anand was saying. Goa coming up, Anand.
Only thing is, in the poll of polls in Punjab, it just says if the Akali Dal backs the Congress, we don't know what will happen in Punjab. But here in Goa, well, once again, it's the BJP marginally down, perhaps saved again once again by the Axis numbers of 20, but they're little down from what their last numbers were. So, but the factionalism inside within the Congress.
Okay, not only that. This is the real story here. Axis says 20. If Axis says 20, in fact, you have a situation. You have a situation where the BJP comes back in a second state. Yeah. It comes back in a second state.
Absolutely, it comes back in a second state.
And it beats and bucks anti-incumbency, even though the AAP is a factor.
And
so
though the BJP,
that you just came up.
The BJP should here be thankful to AAP because it is the AAP which has been splitting the Catholic vote.
Okay.
So that's the story.
Is that the story? Because see, look at MRC and Axis. Okay. What's the reason why they've given 7 and 2 as a skew?
All right. We've had a blackout. We've had a blackout.
Which is going to trigger the social.
We've had a blackout.
Let me tell you the numbers.
Don't say because you are in UP.
We're back.
It's back, Navika. It's back. Sorry to cut you off there. It's back. Let's have a look at some of the other numbers. We are looking at Uttarakhand. The wall did not want to give us the numbers for Uttarakhand. Suspense lingers for about 10 seconds. We are going to go to those. But Uttarakhand numbers are also interesting, and we're going to come back to the wall. We're going to come back to those numbers. Let's very quickly get a sense from Navika about where this is going and what it means nationally.
Well, let me just tell you, Rahul, where this is going. Whatever the scientific polls may be saying, the scientific polls are on one side, but the Satta Bazaar polls, let me tell you the Satta Bazaar. Gujarat Satta Bazaar says 220 to 225 to the BJP. Mumbai Satta Bazaar gives 250 to 300 to the BJP. Madhya Pradesh Satta Bazaar gives 270 to 280 to the BJP, and Delhi Satta Bazaar again 250 to 290. So it's a clear verdict. The Satta Bazaar is what I'm telling you. I've got on my phone. The Satta Bazaar, of course, is giving it completely. Yes, Sanjeev Srivastava.
Or till this morning, actually, I got some Satta Bazaar figures from a very multinational trading desk, one of these investment firms, and it was consistent for the last 8 to 10 days, 188 to 195 for the BJP. So now the Satta Bazaar, it seems, is taking a cue from the exit polls, and it's somewhere coming nearer to the poll of polls.
How do you not know that polls are participants in the Satta Bazaar?
Well, I won't say that really. I don't think so.
How do you know? I'm not saying they are. I'm not saying they are. But how do you know they are not?
But one thing we can be certain about, that the stock markets will open with a big gap up
but you
tomorrow.
Gentlemen, you said.
Look, 1 second.
But Sanju, yesterday
we can all agree on one thing. The Satta Bazaar.
Yesterday they were 185
to 95.
Okay, gentlemen.
Suddenly they jump 100.
1 second.
That is because tomorrow is the last day of polling. I mean, in terms of interpretation.
Okay.
So that's why they're surprised.
Okay, 1 second. We have with us MOS PMO Jitendra Singh with us on the show. Let's get some of the larger questions in, Navika. Let me first ask you, Mr. Jitendra Singh, because we have put up our own poll which gives you reason to smile, at least where Uttar Pradesh is concerned. But there are other polls which give very variable figures. In fact, you're not really the preeminent party. How many states are you winning?
Nice. I shall say all the 5. The manner in which people have responded overwhelmingly, voters across all the 5 states, and this is also a vindication of a series of public welfare measures initiated under Prime Minister Modi and carried forward by our party units in different states, and people have risen above considerations of caste, creed, religion, and they have voted for development because they see their future, particularly the future of youth, under Prime Minister Modi and under a party led by Amit Shah. And I think this is also, this heralds the beginning of a new era in Indian politics, where the voter has come of age, where the common citizen has come of age, where the ordinary common man in the streets of India has learned to grow out of constraints, considerations, allurements of caste, creed, religion, and to look forward to a brighter future. And I think that is something which is going to be a watershed in the history of Indian democracy of 70 years.
But what about Punjab, sir?
Well, Punjab is certainly not going your way, Mr. Jitendra Singh. But having said that, my question to you is very clearly, is this election a referendum on Prime Minister Narendra Modi? Since you made him your mascot, you took him to all parts of Uttar Pradesh. Is it a referendum on the BJP's rule in the centre, as well as Prime Minister Narendra Modi as an icon of the BJP?
I would put it this way: BJP is an organization, it's a Sangathan party. We arrive at certain conclusions and we also initiate certain policies with a lot of deliberation, and after a considerable amount of thinking, deliberation, and finally consensus. And yes, the Prime Minister is first among the equals, and therefore Prime Minister's personal image, his personal appeal, and above all his trustworthiness among the people of country, which was proved more than abundantly following the decision of remonetization, the manner in which people were willing to go through initial hardship simply because they believed that Prime Minister Modi had done something which was in their interest.
So are you suggesting, Doctor, are you suggesting then, and it's a simple straightforward question, if Rahul Gandhi and Kejriwal and Akhilesh and Mayawati are up for test, then if it doesn't go according to script, the Prime Minister and perhaps those that have been closest in advising him, Amit Shah, would they have to actually own up to this? Would they be accountable? Who would be accountable?
Certainly not. This is one major factor, but certainly there are a number of factors, because India is a heterogeneous society and a heterogeneous nation. But what I am trying to say is that if you compare it to the earlier elections and the earlier political alignments, there is a change in the sense that voter has come of age. Now, for example, in a state like Manipur, where people would not be very much conversant with Hindi, some of them may be well conversant with English, and in spite of that, they find an identification with Bharatiya Janata Party, with its leadership, with its Prime Minister, with its President, because they feel that they have a stake with BJP, which they do not find in Congress Party or any other party.
Manipur always goes with the party.
Okay, thank you very much for joining us, Dr. Jitendra Singh there, MOS in the PMO, speaking to us here on Times Now. Thank you very much. Let me introduce our new panel. Dr. Sambit Patra, National Spokesperson of the BJP, Udayveer Singh, Spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party, Naeem Abbas, leader of the BSP with us, and Harcharan Singh Bains, advisor to Chief Minister of Punjab, joining us from Chandigarh. Harcharan Singh Bains, first let me come across to you. It's a rout. Whichever poll you look at, the Shiromani Akali Dal and the BJP are going to be routed in Punjab. Is that the way you look at it? And what does it mean when you are up against a neck-and-neck race between the Congress and the Aam Aadmi Party in Punjab? Either of them could make the government tomorrow.
See, first of all, I know you will not take me seriously. I know you have this exit poll before you, so you don't really want to listen to this seriously. But we are quite used to being eaten off. In the last last four elections, no one gave us a chance. In fact, in 2002, we were given only 12 seats by Aaj Tak. and we managed 50. And we've never been predicted to be the winners. Even last time everybody predicted we'll lose. So I don't know how much I should rely on the exit polls. And also I'm looking at one of the exit polls, one of your rival channels, iTalk. It says AAP is getting 34% vote share and SAD BJP are getting 17% vote share, which means combined they are getting 51% vote share. And Congress is getting 36% vote share. So 51% to combined SAD and AAP and 36% to Congress. But when you look at the seats conversion, it becomes, they are giving us 42 plus 6 seats, 48 seats to all parties other than the Congress. No, which is, as you know, it's laughable. I mean, how can, combined which takes 51 share end up there? In any case, even if we put that aside for a while, and even we look at the bare, the ground reality this time, the Punjab electoral landscape was extremely complex. It wasn't like the conventional yardsticks being applied will not hold. I mean, you can take my word for it. We may win, we may lose.
No, sir, please.
But I can
this is a stretch. The Aam Aadmi Party said that under your rule, there has been rampant drug abuse. There was even a movie made about it, which ran into a lot of controversy. There has been misgovernance, that there was a crime that was increasing, that the police station was actually adjuncted to your party office. So, there has been a huge criticism, sir, going into this election. No. I want to ask you, why is it that you fail the people? It's very simple. Let's for a moment suspend belief, look at the numbers, respond.
No, first of all, what else do you expect the opposition to say? You don't expect them to praise us. Secondly, you are already jumping to the conclusion. As I said, I won't like to comment on the exit polls. With due respect, I totally respect you. I know you're not biased. But I have my own reasons to disagree with this. So I will not say...
Okay, one second. I want to bring in Dr. Patra. One second. Dr. Patra, look, the stated mission of your party is that we want a Congress Mukt Bharat. Now you have a situation where in this particular state there seems to be a lot of traction. There seems to be a lot of traction for the Congress and even the Aam Aadmi Party.
Rahul, as far as commenting on Punjab is concerned, I would rather love to comment on Uttar Pradesh or Uttarakhand than on Punjab because of the simple reason, not that figures are against us, because of the simple reason that my elder brother, representative of SAD, is over here. So I would leave my elder brother because we are a small partner.
We are talking in terms of we are talking in terms of a pattern. So there is a situation where the Aam Aadmi Party has made inroads in Goa. You have a situation where some of the exit polls are even suggesting that you may not make it past the halfway mark in Uttar Pradesh. There is a feeling, and it's pretty much being confirmed by some of the exit polls, that in Goa it's going to be a neck and neck. So in Uttarakhand, of course, the numbers for Uttarakhand are screen blanked out, unfortunately, but those will tell you also that it's a neck and neck. So how are you suggesting that your party is growing out of its base?
Rahul, let me just answer this question of yours. Is Bharatiya Janata Party growing itself? Is it spreading its tentacles? Let's just compare us to where we were 5 years ago, 2012. If you combine all these 5 states, we were contesting for 690 seats approximately. Of these 690 seats, Bharatiya Janata Party collectively of these 5 states held 112 seats only. Just imagine, from 112 seats collectively in these 5 states to more than 200 seats in few of your exit polls in one state itself. That shows that this is a big leap ahead, a big march ahead, and thanks to the hard work that the Prime Minister Mr. Narendra Modi and the party president, the guidance of the party president Mr. Amit Shah, that finally the Bharatiya Janata Party has marched ahead. And the biggest takeaway of this exit poll concentrating Uttar Pradesh would be...
Dr. Sambit Patra.
Let me complete this 10 seconds now, because this is extremely important.
Let me interject and ask you one question. Number one, these are exit polls. Number two, some of the exit polls which are more conservative in their outlook do put a question mark. They do put out the spectre of a hung assembly in Uttar Pradesh. Would you still say the same thing on 11th of March if it was a hung assembly? Would you still, credit the Prime Minister for it? Or would you at that time take the, responsibility on the party's shoulders to say that, sorry, somewhere something didn't work? After all, you saw a similar situation in Bihar as well.
No, Navika, first and foremost, repeatedly saying that these are just exit polls. Well, I agree that these are exit polls, but then we are debating and discussing on the speculative figures of exit poll, and we all believe on the credibility of the various channels. All the channels must have worked very hard to reach the conclusion in these exit polls. Now, well, whether we win or we lose, the question that you had put. See, look at the array in Uttar Pradesh. All the exit polls in Uttar Pradesh, if we even go by the poll of polls, we are crossing the halfway mark. If we sum up all the exit polls of Uttar Pradesh. So naturally the exit polls point towards the direction of victory as far as Bharatiya Janata Party is concerned. But
no, that's not the issue. I think Navika's question was very pointed, and I want to bring in Kumar Ketkar on this. Kumar Ketkar, the BJP has always danced around this subject that, look, if we win, then the credit goes to the Prime Minister and his tireless, indefatigable ability to continually campaign for us. If we lose, it's a collective failure. Local issues were at work.
That was the same accusation they used to have for Sonia and Rahul. If they lose, it is the party loses, and if they win, it is Rahul and Sonia lose. Now the,
so can there be two yardsticks?
Now the same theory has been transferred to BJP.
The credit goes to PM.
Now the same
loss is diffused among several factors and several individuals.
So if they lose, it is the party loses, and if they win, it is Modi wins.
But isn't
so
there
you keep the mythology of Modi factor still alive.
Can there be equivocation of this? 1 second, sir. Can there be equivocation like this?
No, it's absolutely, it's normal with this kind of parties, and the way BJP is going, it's emerging as a one-man party. And when that happens, then what happens is the credit will always go to the top man, and discredit will go to the party, whether it was...
But in this case, it would go straight to the door of the BJP president, because he has been instrumental in orchestrating this campaign, Nija Chaudhary.
No, he will take the discredit if it goes that way, because he has been protecting Modi ji.
This is really a test of.
Rahul, don't forget the Rajnath Singh and all the 5 faces on the posters.
Yeah.
So they will blame the people we were projecting as a chief minister candidate also. They also did.
And I think there is nothing wrong in that, because there is nothing wrong in that.
Then you can't ask questions.
Can I just take 20 seconds to define this?
Coming to you, to protect
coming to you, sir. Coming to
yes. To shield its leader when that kind of thing happens. It's a very natural phenomenon.
Natural.
And even if the party does not blame the Prime Minister, if in the event of
the opposition
not making it, that the questions will be raised. There will be discussions in the country that despite the Prime Minister's stock being so high, what went wrong. And I think there may be some murmuring then against the party president.
Okay.
I think
so there's a lot at stake. Dr. Patra, that's perhaps the reason why the Prime Minister was overextending himself, and perhaps that's why he was projected so aggressively. Dr. Patra, respond, please.
Give me some time, because this is a very important question, and I want to settle this right now over here. Number one, when you say what is the prime ideology of any party, prime ideology of any party is expansion. Have we expanded? Phenomenal expansion, and that is the reason as to why I said 690, 112 seats, from there to the kind of expansion.
But you're not answering my question, sir.
No, I'm answering your question directly. I'm answering your question very directly and pointedly. Yes, Mr. Narendra Modi and Amit Shah are the people who have worked hard, and because of their vision, this phenomenal expansion. Look, I mean, the seat numbers are definitely important, but you all would agree to the fact the kind of expansion that we have seen from 2012 till today is because of the hard work and the vision of the Prime Minister. Shouldn't we weigh
elections
victory
are over,
in these terms as well?
Dr. Sambit Patra, the elections are over. The campaigning is over. Now it's only time for results. So let me take the question to Udayveer Singh. Since you are not giving a direct reply, let me get in Udayveer Singh of the Samajwadi Party. Mr. Udayveer Singh, सवाल ये है कि हर एग्जिट पोल ये दिखा रहा है कि जो अलायंस है अखिलेश यादव और राहुल गांधी का, वो कहीं ना कहीं विफल हुआ है, कहीं ना कहीं फेल हुआ है. It hasn't worked the way it was supposed to work. Does this mean once again अखिलेश यादव लॉस है, या राहुल गांधी ने अखिलेश यादव को नीचे खींच लिया, जैसे उन्होंने डीएमके और लेफ्ट पार्टीज को नीचे खींचा था वेस्ट बंगाल और तमिलनाडु में, अब अखिलेश को ले डूबेंगे?
किसी ने किसी को नीचे नहीं खींचा. नो वन हैज पुल्ड द अदर वन आउट. ट्रेडिशनली polls have not favored us, and there are specific reasons for that. Akhilesh ji has contested this election in an untraditional manner on his work and image of the government, and in that regard he has a vote in every house, among every section. We contest elections on booth level management and booth level working. BJP contests election on creating a political atmosphere, managing media, creating a atmosphere of
managing media,
division, polarization, and so many things, which unfortunately means putting their views through media people by convincing them, by reaching out to them, by putting forward their views. And traditionally we have not been, we have been working more in the field, more on the booths politically. We have less friends also in medias where you can convey your things in an uninformal manner.
सिंह जी, आप कह रहे हैं कि अगर फ्रेंडशिप हो मीडिया से तो एग्जिट पोल में आपके नंबर अच्छे हो जाते हैं?
There's a media bias.
I mean, that's an accusation.
Not exit poll. Not exit poll.
उत्तर प्रदेश में एग्जामिनेशन का हाल थोड़ी है कि चीटिंग कर करके नंबर बढ़ा देंगे।
ये बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है। सुनिए, मेरी बात सुनिए, मेरी सुन लीजिए। पात्रा जी, बहुत शांति से मैंने सुना था, परेशान मत होइए। सवाल ये है कि अगर देश का प्रधानमंत्री मंचों से फैक्चुअल एरर्स करके झूठ बोल रहा हो, कम्युनल पोलराइजेशन करने की कोशिश कर रहा हो, और अगर पार्लियामेंट्री डेमोक्रेसी में सबसे बड़ा पोस्ट होल्ड करते हैं, अगर ऐसा इशू नहीं बनता है तो या तो लोग मैं वही सवाल जवाब दे रहा था, लेकिन आपने बीच में मुझे काउंटर क्वेश्चन कर दिया।
राहुल गांधी का साथ कैसा रहा?
राहुल गांधी का साथ बिल्कुल ठीक रहा। समाजवादी पार्टी और कांग्रेस का गठबंधन चुनाव जीतेगा। कभी भी एग्जिट पोल्स ने हमको सपोर्ट नहीं किया है, वो हमेशा हमको कम दिखाते रहे। हम बूथ लेवल पे काम करते हैं। रिजल्ट्स ने हमेशा खिलाफ बोला है। और बिहार में किसने जिम्मेदारी ली हार की? लोगों ने मिठाई बांट दी थी। पात्रा जी ने कई राउंड डांस भी कर लिया था कार्यालय पे, और उसके बाद क्या हुआ? किसी ने जिम्मेदारी ली क्या? मैं जो आपसे कहना चाह रहा हूँ, हमारा बूथ लेवल स्टडी है अपना।
वो चिंता मत करिए
सर। आज तो
हमारी बूथ लेवल स्टडी है। डांस का मतलब आपने
नहीं सर, आज आप
डांस का मतलब खुशी आपने जाहिर की थी, जाहिर की थी। नहीं, बिल्कुल नहीं, बिल्कुल नहीं। खुशी आपने जाहिर की थी पात्रा जी, और आप जितनी शांति की भाषा आज बोल रहे हैं, जितनी शांति की भाषा
नहीं सीधा सवाल पूछा है अंबिका जी ने आपसे। सवाल ये है कि अगर आप हारें तो किसकी हार होगी? अखिलेश यादव की, गठबंधन की,
राहुल गांधी की?
हमारा कार्यकर्ता से लेके नेता तक सब जिम्मेदारी हार और जीत की लेते हैं। हार होगी तो हमारी पार्टी की हार होगी, हमारी लीडरशिप और कार्यकर्ताओं की हार होगी। जीत होगी तो हम सबकी जीत होगी। अखिलेश यादव
राहुल गांधी कहाँ फिट होते हैं इस इक्वेशन में?
चुनाव लड़कर
राहुल गांधी जी कहाँ फिट होते हैं?
हमारा और कांग्रेस का अलायंस है। वी आर मैच्योर पार्टी, आवर लीडर्स आर मैच्योर लीडर्स, दे हैव टेकन ए कैलकुलेटेड।
शीला जी तो बोल रही थी मैच्योर नहीं है,
और उसका जो जिम्मेदारी होगा
शीला जी तो बोल रही थी वो मैच्योर नहीं है।
चुनाव से पहले कांग्रेस से हाथ जोड़ रहे थे, चुनाव के बाद आप बसपा से हाथ जोड़ रहे हैं। ये कैसी?
शीला दीक्षित बोल रही थी राहुल गांधी मैच्योर नहीं है, आप बोल रहे थे बड़े मैच्योर हैं। अभी इंतजार करिए, 11 तारीख को मालूम पड़ेगा कितने मैच्योर हैं।
सुनिए,
Okay, one second. We'll take a short break. We'll continue this. This is an interesting one. Uttar Pradesh is the jackpot. The reason why there is disproportionate attention being paid to Uttar Pradesh is because it is the jackpot. Let's not get away from that. We come back to it. We'll figure out what it actually means in the larger scheme of things. Why is it so important? We come back to that. Don't go away.
For staying tuned with us, the big question we want to raise now is there a possibility of a new alliance in Uttar Pradesh which could then have an impact on National Alliance? Already Akhilesh Yadav has made a statement in his interview to the BBC. He has said that to keep the BJP out of power in Uttar Pradesh, he's even willing to look at an alliance with Bahujan Samaj Party and Mayawati. Does that mean a possible Mahagathbandhan is possible in Uttar Pradesh, and that then could be explored for the 2019 elections at the center as well? आपसे पूछती हूँ नईम अब्बास साहब, अखिलेश यादव ने कहा है कि वो मायावती जी के साथ भी हाथ मिला सकते हैं, वो बीजेपी को बाहर रखने के लिए कुछ भी कर सकते हैं, और वो नहीं चाहते कि रिमोट कंट्रोल से उत्तर प्रदेश की सरकार चले। क्या मायावती जी अखिलेश यादव या समाजवादी पार्टी के साथ कोई समझौता कर सकती है?
देखिए, पहले तो मैं आपको बताना चाहता हूँ कि हमारी पूरी बहुमत के साथ गवर्नमेंट आ रही है।
चलिए, वो तो आपकी मान ली बात।
2007 में
परसों तक कहते रहे।
2007 में भी इसी तरीके का एग्जिट पोल आया था और सब लोग ये कह रहे थे कि बहन जी की सरकार नहीं बनने जा रही है। इस बार भी इसी तरीके का है। देखिए, वोटर बहुत साइलेंट है और पूरी तरीके से उसने बीजेपी के खिलाफ वोटिंग करी है और आप देखेंगे जब 11 तारीख को रिजल्ट आने शुरू होंगे तो ये बिल्कुल बीएसपी के हक में आएंगे। देखिए, तो आपके अखिलेश जी की बात करें तो अखिलेश जी ने 6 महीने पहले भी बोल दिया था कि मैं जो है शिवपाल जी को सीएम बनना देखना नहीं चाहता हूं, मैं बुआ जी के को पहले समर्थन दे दूंगा। 6 महीने पहले जब ये झगड़ा स्टार्ट हुआ तब भी अखिलेश जी ने बोल दिया था। और आज तो देखिए कि साधना गुप्ता हो गई और आजम खां जी हो गए कि उन्होंने खुद ही अपनी हार स्वीकार कर ली है। तो हमारी तरफ से तो इस तरीके की कोई ऐसी बात नहीं आ रही है हमारी।
और अगर वो आपको मायावती जी को चीफ मिनिस्टर बनाए, चाहे आपकी जितनी सीटें आए, 50 आए, 60 आए, 70 आए, जितनी मर्जी सीटें आए, अगर वो बाहर से समर्थन देते हैं और मायावती जी को मुख्यमंत्री बनाते हैं तो क्या ये पॉसिबिलिटी आपके लिए क्या बुरी है ये अलायंस?
देखिए, मैं अलायंस की बात ही नहीं कर रहा हूँ क्योंकि हमें ज़रूरत नहीं पड़ रही है। अब बाकी अखिलेश जी ने अपनी तरफ से ऑप्शन दे ही दिया है तो हमें कोई दिक्कत है नहीं किसी भी तरीके से।
नहीं, जरूरत तो पड़ रही है आपको। यू नीड इट। लुक एट द नंबर्स।
सर देखिए, पिछले मैंने अभी भी आपको बताया, अभी भी मैंने आपसे
अलग बात है, मगर आप नंबर्स तो देखिए।
नहीं, मैंने नंबर्स तो 2007 में भी देखे थे सर। मैंने 2007 में भी यही इसी
पर ये एक पोल नहीं है, ये 6 पोल का एवरेज लिया है। उसमें 217 आ रही है बीजेपी की और 56 सिर्फ आ रही है बसपा की। तो इसमें
2007 में
जी
कम से कम एक पोल ने आपको 160 सीटें दी थी। मैं उसका रेंज भी बताता हूं, 152 से 168 दी गई थी बसपा को एक पोल में।
जी।
आज एक भी पोल ने आपको 100 के ऊपर नहीं डाला।
देखिए, मैं अभी भी बीबीसी का देख रहा था, अभी मेरे नेट पे भी आया है, तो बीबीसी में भी दिखा रहे हैं कि 240 सीटें आ रही हैं।
नहीं, वो फ्रॉड पोल है।
और सबसे बड़ा पोल होता है नईम अब्बास जी।
कोई पोल नहीं करता।
नईम अब्बास जी, सबसे बड़ा पोल होता है जो सबके ऊपर होता है, वो है सट्टा बाजार का पोल। और सट्टा बाजार भी अगर आप देखें तो सारी सट्टा बाजार की जो आउटलुक्स हैं वो जा रही हैं फेवर में बीजेपी के। और हर सट्टा बाजार का पोल कह रहा है बसपा का 60 से 62, 30 से 60, 60 से 90, 65 से 68, कोई भी आपको 100 के ऊपर सीटें नहीं दे रहा।
देखिए, सट्टे बाजारों की उनकी अपनी अलग सोच है किस तरीके से वो लगाते हैं। तो ये तो नामुमकिन वाली बात है जिस तरीके से उन्होंने लगा के बताया कि 60 से 65, 65 से 70 या 90 तक वो लगा के बता रहे हैं। वो उनकी पता नहीं क्या मजबूरी हो सकती है, वो मैं नहीं।
तो उदयवीर सिंह जी, नईम अब्बास जी तो कह रहे हैं कि कोई पॉसिबिलिटी नहीं है अलायंस की, उन्हें जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी। आप क्या कहेंगे? अखिलेश यादव ने कहा कि आप बसपा को सपोर्ट करेंगे, बसपा तो आपको बिल्कुल भाव नहीं दे रही है।
नविका जी, उन्होंने बिल्कुल ऐसा नहीं कहा है अखिलेश यादव जी ने। वो पूरी बाइट मैंने सुनी है, उन्होंने ऐसा कुछ नहीं कहा है। उन्होंने ये कहा कि हमारी और कांग्रेस की सरकार बनेगी, हमको लोगों ने अच्छा वोट किया है। और उसके बाद उन्होंने एक बात कहा है, इस तरह का कोई नेशनल क्राइसिस आ जाए, कोई भारतीय जनता पार्टी संविधान का दुरुपयोग करने लगे, बहुत सारे इश्यूज ऐसे होते हैं, नहीं, पार्टियां एक हो जाती हैं।
तो सुन ली सबने अखिलेश यादव की बाइट सुन ली है। उदयवीर सिंह जी, आप क्या कहेंगे? मायावती जो पत्ता नहीं दे रही है आपको, बीएसपी पत्ता नहीं दे रही है, कह रही है कि कोई मतलब नहीं है, तो आप आगे की रणनीति क्या रखेंगे?
कोई रणनीति की सवाल नहीं है। मैंने आपसे कहा हमारी बूथ लेवल की जानकारी है, मैं सीट बाय सीट बात कर सकता हूं कि हम लोग बाकायदा बिल्कुल सरकार बनाने में पहुंच जाएंगे, सरकार बना लेंगे। नंबर 1। नंबर 2, पत्ता देने या न देने की बात नहीं है। अगर कोई लोकतांत्रिक प्रक्रिया भारतीय जनता पार्टी या कोई भी उसका हनन करने की कोशिश करते हैं, मैं तो लगातार व्यक्तिगत राय का हूं कि इस चुनाव के दौरान भी प्रधानमंत्री जी ने अपने पद का और अपनी उसका दुरुपयोग किया, मर्यादाएं नहीं रखी।
Okay, let's take a quick round from our panelists on whether this was a significant statement. Yes, Samit Patra, coming to you. Let's take a quick round from our panelists on whether this was a significant statement and does this have a ramification for national politics if the BSP and the Samajwadi Party were to come together. Nalin Mehta.
I think it's an interesting statement. He's thrown what you call like a firki without saying too much directly.
Okay,
he's hinting at possibilities. So it's like a firki in the
I think it's a very significant statement, but only if the house is hung. It may not be meaningless.
Mr. Kumar Ketkar.
I think it is an important statement, but only if SP and Congress do not get 180 seats. Otherwise, they will have enough other members too.
Okay, so you are still keeping your own prediction figure up. Okay, Alok Mehta.
I think he is going for this type of alliance for future also. He's not for tomorrow, not for the state government,
himself.
but he's positioning for the national leadership.
Politics. Yeah. Okay,
after
so national politics, is he positioning Akhilesh Yadav positioning himself for national politics?
Yes, I also believe that it's not just this election, but Akhilesh Yadav is throwing his hat for the national politics, because the problem with national politics has been that in UP is very important for the opposition, and the UP problem has been that the non-BJP vote is divided nearly equally between BSP and SP, and if it comes together, then it will be a huge problem, huge challenge for BJP.
Well, the fact of the matter is that Mr. Modi formed a government at the center, the BJP formed a government at the center with just 31% of the vote, which means the 69 was split up. And if Mr. Yadav sees this as a visionary thing, that we should keep the 69 together to keep this politics of division and non-governance out, then it's a good thing.
But there is a probability because when we crunch the
even
numbers,
SP formed a government with 29% of the vote. I agree with you that the first time a national party got a majority in the Lok Sabha, but we should also be
no, but there's a direct correlation between the Bharatiya Janata Party forming the government at the center and its performance in Uttar Pradesh. We had crunched those numbers, Jay. That's perhaps the reason why Akhilesh is thinking of this sort of Mahagathbandhan.
Can I please come in?
No, absolutely. And
1 second.
The most important thing is, with the 80 Lok Sabha seats that UP offers, then with the declining Congress, he actually can take center space. It's a real possibility. So if the Congress even grows from 44 to 65, 70 next time, there's a possibility for him to take center stage.
Anytime the BJP has ended up with less than a particular threshold of its numbers of vote share in Uttar Pradesh, it hasn't made it back to the center. This was seen in 2004, this is seen in other elections too.
Well, these now the exit polls are suggesting something else. So we can't now suddenly start hypothecating on something else. On Akhilesh, I think he's positioning himself and for a 20-30 year political run. So he wants to position himself as a pole against Narendra Modi. But this is too ambitious a plan. I don't think it can work with Maya.
Neerja Chaudhary, too ambitious?
It is ambitious, but what is he telling her? It's a trial balloon, very deliberate. It's not an off-the-cuff remark. And what he's saying is, look, what is the alternative to our making you CM? And I would say about Sabha, it's not just a hung house, it's a horribly hung house in which this can happen.
Very
and he's saying the alternative is going to be...
Why is he saying this? Because the numbers are not adding up for him. Anand will tell us why the numbers are not adding up. Anand, I'm coming straight across to you. No, 1 second, 1 second. I want to bring in the numbers.
We'll see the numbers, Sambit Patra, before we come to you.
Anand.
As Neerja Chaudhary was saying, and all of you are speculating, Akhilesh might want to project himself nationally, but wo Qatar mein hai. Nitish, Mamta already ahead of him in the line. But let's look at the UP numbers at this point in time. Poll of polls, 217 is the number, the average going up very clearly above the majority mark for the BJP. Some of the pollsters projecting a rout for the SP Congress alliance and a runaway victory in Chanakya and Chanakya and Axis, beg your pardon. VMR, our exit poll, the hashtag mega exit poll, projects it at 200. This is the UP number, big decline for the Samajwadi Party, especially in the alliance with the Congress. It's not worked as a force multiplier, but is it the hand that rocked the boat or rocked the cycle? That's the question that we are asking. So, and that's the assembly that you're seeing. The treasury benches all colored saffron. Now SP and BSP will be sitting together in the opposition. If we were to go by the poll of polls and an aggregate of all the exit polls this evening here on the 9th of March. 11th, we'll see if the picture is the same. Which of the numbers get reflected, the actual numbers, who gets close, we'll see. Let's move on to Punjab. And in Punjab, again, it is the Aam Aadmi Party that's surging ahead across most of the polls, especially with C-Voter giving it a clear distance with the Congress Party. But otherwise, it could be neck and neck. And if this is a scenario, that is the median of all the poll of polls number is where it all stands, then perhaps the Aam Aadmi Party might be sitting in the opposition. Now let's move on and have a look at our next state, and this is Uttarakhand. Once again, Congress and the BJP, this was a scenario in 2012, a slide for the Congress, a surge for the BJP, clear numbers for the BJP with today's Chanakya giving it 53 seats, Axis giving it 49, MRC poll 38. So clearly way ahead for the Congress, for the BJP. So another state won for the BJP here. Let's go across to Goa. Now, will they be able to guard that bastion which Manohar Parrikar vacated? Lakshmikant Parsekar got in. They had a lot of flux, the BJP, but seemed to be able to keep it together with 18, 12, 3 and 7 as the poll of polls numbers, with the numbers in favor of the BJP. And Manipur, one of the dipsticks that's come across from Manipur, and this is the number that it is throwing up, the C-Voter exit poll 2017, 31 for the BJP, 25 to 31 out of the total of 60 seats. Congress 23, we had Okram Ibobi Singh waxing eloquent saying we'll get 40, but that's not happening. That's not happening
because if this were to hold true, the BJP would be making a big stride once again after Assam into the northeast. So that's a very big story right there. I just
Rahul,
want to
just
go
before you take it away, because mega exit poll is our hashtag, we've got fantastic traction. The joke doing the rounds, Rahul Gandhi is being trolled big time, but the bigger joke is who says Narendra Modi is a divisive force? He brought sworn enemies together in Bihar. He's doing that in Uttar Pradesh. How can you call him a divisive force? That's the question they're asking. Back to you guys.
Dr. Sambit Patra, question is, if what happened in Bihar brought RJD and the JDU together happens in Uttar Pradesh, if the BSP and the SP come together, then it's a new formula that you will be facing in 2019. And does Akhilesh Yadav's statement worry you tonight? And don't give me the motherhood statement that the BJP is becoming the national axis and so far for 60 years it was the Congress. Forget that explanation that we've heard from the BJP before, but tell us the real politic. What will really happen if all opposing parties in states also come together to make a united front against the BJP? Would that be a very big problem for the BJP in 2019?
Not at all. In fact, let me tell you, the story in Bihar would have been very different if Mr. Lalu Prasad Yadav would not have been disqualified. Because Nitish was qualified and Lalu was disqualified, the story there was different. Over here, both Mayawati as well as Akhilesh Yadav stand qualified. They have not been disqualified by any court. So the story over here, the fight of ambition, the fight for the throne is absolutely different and no one is going to concede. But the important takeaway from this debate is, number one, we have to read between the lines. And between the lines, let me tell you, Akhilesh Yadav has conceded defeat post the exit poll itself. A very structured and organized concede story has been declared, rolled out by Akhilesh Yadav, if you would see. First, Ravidas Malhotra, in fact, breaks the bones on the head of Congress.
It's going to be a very interesting. It's going to be a very interesting 11th of March. Whichever way you look at it, it could redefine the way we are viewing national politics. Of that, there is no doubt. Okay, gentlemen. Okay, now we're drawing to a close. Save your breath because you'll need it on March 11th. We leave it at that. Lots more.
The suspense is still going to be on March 11th when we come back. Don't forget to tune in at 6 a.m. on March 11th. Your date with Mandate 2017.
Good night.